Hey guys, today I'm gonna be showing you how to master an audio with just one click with Audacity. So mind that this is a free tool. So the one that I'm using right now is Audacity 3.7. So if you don't have it yet, I recommend you to download it from this link. So this is a free tool which is very easy to use and has a very complete set of features. Let's get started. So typically, you'll get a wave format audio when you record from your digital audio workstation or from VST host or recording from your instrument like guitar or piano, right? And then let's check this out. So I already have this wave file, okay, which is from my recording. So I can drag it here. So first, yeah, let's do some checking. So this is a piano cover that I'll be releasing soon, right? So everything works correctly and the audio is playing. So typically, one thing that you need to do is experiment with the EQ setting that you like. So if you want to achieve a good EQ setting, you might want to get a good set of headphones, particularly the ones with the neutral audio profile, like I would recommend Sennheiser or Bose, and some recent Sony headphones like the SM6, as opposed to the ones with bass heavy profile like the Sony XM3 or XM4. So first you need to select the audio, select all, and then effect, and then EQ, and then for certain types of audio like piano in my case, I would find it to be sufficient to just apply bass and treble. Typically, the sound of the piano libraries, if it's coming from the grand piano especially, the raw audio will be very bassy. So I just reduce like 9 dB or 10 dBs of bass and then we are good to go. We don't have to increase the treble because it makes the piano sound sharper and less mellow. Okay, we apply that. Okay, and then try to preview the audio and see if you like it. Explaining EQ will be another whole story. So let's come back to the purpose of this video, which is to one-click master an audio. Once you find the perfect EQ, you can go to the macro manager. And then from here, you might want to create a new macro first. Macro is basically you apply a lot of steps in one click. Let's say I have my piano 2 because I earlier have the other one. And then I insert. So first thing that I want to do is the EQ setting. So just now I use the menu called bass and treble. So I'll click that and then I'll edit the settings if I need to. So let's say my bass is -10 in here. And then you insert again another step which is called, what you need here is the compression to really maximize the volume. I'll show you later what I mean by that. So compressor, and then here you edit again, and then it's easier to just use the preset that is available. So for example here, this is just a piano audio, so let's click on that. So here is basically you're maximizing the volume, and then towards a certain point you are limiting the volume, because sometimes a piano can be very dynamic, which covers very soft volume to very loud volume, which increases the volume by a lot. So you need to cut that down to keep the volume of the rest of the audio maximized. You might want to select other presets and see if you like it. And then after compressor, you need to normalize the volume. Okay, let's find the normalize there. Let's edit that. Make sure that you normalize the peak amplitude to 0 dB. And then one more, don't forget to save the audio. I would recommend to save it as FLAC, which is a very good compression. So the typical size of FLAC audio is double of MP3, but it's a very good one. So export as FLAC. Yep, I don't think you need to edit the setting. There's no settings there. So it's just one with the very best quality, right? And then you save it. Okay, and one more thing that we forget is to select all the audio before everything. There's a thing called select all in here. And then make sure it's in the beginning. Otherwise, it will throw an error. Okay, click save. And then for this whole audio, I'm going to apply the macro called my piano 2 and see what is the result. Okay, now this is the final result. Looks very good to me. The volume is maximized to the peak amplitude, so we are just making sure that it's not cracking any speakers or headphones. Yep, now looks okay. And because we save the audio as FLAC, the output will be depending on your preferences. So you might want to go to Edit and Preferences and see the directory section, and you will find your macro output in that particular directory. Okay, coming back to one tips regarding piano audio in this case, right? Because in some cases, the piano sound will make high amplitudes like this one, the high volumes, because of the nature of the piano sound, right? But it is not so much a problem in a band, for example, because it's a mix of multiple audios in multiple frequencies. So it's a mix of guitar, piano, vocal, drums, and so on. So it's not so much a problem in there. So depending on your sound type, you need to apply different types of compressor. So let's see what's the available ones in there. Oops. So compressor, yeah, just pick a preset that is available here depending on your liking. But I would suggest if it is a normal song with band, with vocals, I would recommend the modern preset because it cuts down a lot of high peak volumes like that one. So as you can see here, it's limiting a lot of volumes there. But I would say it's still okay because if you do it too much, right, it will dampen your whole audio. So the gap from the soft sound to the loudest sound will be very minimal and it doesn't sound pleasant in your ears. So after you apply all this, you need to normalize it back to the peak amplitude with the normalization. Yep, so it looks like this if it's a modern compression. So typically I would say this is still okay. Okay, thank you guys. Subscribe for more.